Hi everyone, it's Laura from Day by Day in Our World, and today we're going to take a quick look at the Hey Mama Schoolhouse Planner for 2016 through 2017 school year from the old Schoolhouse. This is the outside cover, and they've got sort of a retro theme, the idea of out on the prairie, western, different images, and these will come into play later. You open it up, and there's a nice little letter here from Gina. You have your table of contents that tell you everything you're going to be seeing, starting with the calendars, then going into all the different homeschool forms. With calendars, you'll see by month. You can see, a year at a glance. And then you'll find pages of inspiration, these Hey Mama pages, and it goes into the actual year, starting with July. And you have a space for notes, so you can take notes of what you want to do. And then you have your 2-page spread, so you can see. And we don't usually try to do too much school in the summer if we can help it, but we do have, my one son's doing a culinary arts camp, so it's running here at this time. So that's the monthly pages, and it's like that all the way through June 2017. Then when you get to here, you start with your week of, and this one you can write whatever week you want to start on, and you have 5 spaces across, 7 spaces down. So depending on how you want to approach this, for me, I'll show you here in a second what I did. This was using a print one from 2014-2015 that I got in the mail and then just wasn't using it, set it aside, and then this spring my laptop decided to take a little drink of my tea. No sugar, just plain tea. And it didn't kill the hard drive, but it totally messed up the keyboard. Or actually, I think it's the rice that we used to try to dry it out, left a powder residue. So while that was out of commission, waiting for it to get fixed, I pulled this out and decided I would just write out for the week what we're going to do. And then I did the days across, the 5 days for the week across, and then the subjects. And I had 3 boys working on things. So I tried color coding. So I had my high schooler and my middle schooler. My elementary schooler, we did stuff online, and I just didn't always mark it. Science, social studies, I had my high schooler was doing Omnibus 2 from Veritas Press for social studies, and also the secondary one, which was the language arts. Then this was a review that we did this spring with my 7th grader at the time. Music, we were doing some music appreciation. And then I put a spot here for the homeschool crew, the Schoolhouse review crew, what products we wanted to work on each day that we were doing. And then I had a spot that I could put extra stuff. And I just marked on Fridays was lessons for my 2 boys for that. So that's how I was using those pages. And I also came back and marked, like when he finished and I went and logged in, I could see his grades. Here's what he got on his quiz. And I marked the date so that I knew when he had actually finished it. So those are the week of pages. And you'll find interspersed some Hey Mama pages. And then, as hinted on the front cover, you have these different parts of, I guess you could say, pioneer life maybe. And they talk a little bit about what it is. So there's some informative pages spaced throughout. Then you get towards the back here. Whoops, you have monthly goals. Not just educational, but what are your spiritual goals, physical goals, personal talents, life skills, financial, and relational. And these could be for a particular child, but and there's a little, for category, or it could be what you're setting for yourself. What are the goals that you want to do? They also had pages for semester goals. And they have several pages here, so you can do it by child. And then yearly goals. What is it that you want to see them accomplish in that year? And there's enough of those for 5 kids, I believe. Then attendance chart, if you are in a state. I know there's some states that the only requirement you have is that the child has done 180 days of school. So this is a simple chart where you're just checking off how many days of school they've had, as opposed to checking off which day they did the work. And there are several of those. Then we have these books to read this year that it serves as a book log. You could decide, here's the titles I want the child to read and the author, and then you have a spot to mark when it's completed. There are several of those. There's curriculum planning sheets per child. What's the subject, curriculum, who it's from, if you need a contact, let me zoom in, if you need a contact, what the price was and what the grade level is. And I should mention, for those of you that have larger families or decide the number of sheets in here is just not enough, you do have permission to make copies. I just find that if I had to print all of these pages for myself, it would cost me more than buying the print book. But I do have a schoolhouseteachers.com membership, and there's information on my blog post about how you can get that, which gives you access to the digital form of this free of charge. So you could print everything out yourself if you don't want to have, I don't know if you can tell, this is sort of, it's considered color printing. It's just not full-on color. And when you color print, your cost really goes up. So you could do black and white print and keep it down. Anyways, this is a contact list that if you want to keep, whether you're doing a co-op or you just want to know, here's the kids' friends. Then there's some extras. 36 general writing prompts. And there's quotes. I should say there's biblical quotes throughout. There's some story starters, real events, using your imagination. Then there's informative pages like the 13 colonies by date, a timeline of major inventions, the U.S. presidents and their wives and when they served, a breakdown, and this is great for moms to just remember themselves, the branches of government here in the United States, our states and capitals. And then it talks about creating an academic transcript. And this is really for those of you that have high schoolers. And depends on your state. We are in Alaska. We've decided to not be what are called independent homeschoolers. We've registered with an entity that is part of a school district, but it's like a brand, you could consider it like an arm, that it's for homeschoolers. I still have freedom on what I want to pick to use. The upside is I turn everything into them and they maintain the transcript. And for my oldest son, it was very easy for applying for college because everything's coming from a school district. Not that it's impossible to be a homeschooler that's independent, but this walks through how you do all of this. You know, some very basics. And then there's a form, an academic transcript form for your child that you can fill in. Finally, there's a checklist and skills learned. And this is one that you definitely, there's only one copy of it. You definitely want to make a copy for your other kids if you've got more than one. And the very last thing is just tracking other courses. So maybe you don't need to have, this is by month, so that you don't need to have everything, written way out. You just want to track, like, did they practice their music? Or, PE would be another one where you're just tracking by day if they've done it. So that's a great form for that. And they just have a little informative piece. What does schoolhouseteachers.com do for you? If you haven't looked into it, I've got a post on my website, which I will have to add to the link for this review, I guess, or add it here on YouTube. There are a lot of classes that you can go in and do. There's the monthly fee is an option. If you join prepaying for a year right now, they give you some bonuses, including a really nice tote. I somehow can't seem to have enough totes to contain things. So that's great. And then just the back cover. Here's the normal price. For a limited time, there's a code on my blog site that will take $10 off, making it $19 for the United States. If you live out of the United States, you can order. It's just the cost is going to be a little higher because of shipping to get there. Anyways, that's my review of the Hey Mama Schoolhouse Planner 2016-17 from the old Schoolhouse. And this was Laura from Day by Day in Our World, and I hope you found it informative.